Today is a special episode. We have a guest. We haven't had a guest. This is our first time having a guest, and this is the perfect guest. Okay. So far in the season, we have talked about perfection. We have talked about professionalism, self acceptance, conditioning, authenticity, comparison, shrinking yourself. Oh my gosh, all the things. And of course, code switching. And so our guest today is Miss Torriel Harris. And Torriel is a career development and leadership coach with 10 years in career and workforce development. She teaches mid-career Black and Brown women to own their professional dopeness and get promoted without conforming to corporate standards of professionalism. Her philosophy is simple. You do not need to become more palatable to be promotable. Ooh, I love that. We're going to get into all of that. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Codeswitch Rebellion. This is the unfiltered podcast for Black women who are done shrinking, chasing perfection, and performing professionalism in their own business. I'm your host, Melanie L. Denny, personal branding consultant and your identity strategist. This is where we talk about what it really takes to build a personal brand rooted in who you are, not who you were conditioned to be. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to show up with bold authenticity so you can attract better clients and bigger opportunities. Welcome, Torriel. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let's get into this. So, first of all, I absolutely thought you were the perfect guest for the podcast because I see you on LinkedIn all the time posting about these things. And I'm like, yes. I'm always like, yes. I'm always like, yes. I love this because you are speaking my language. It's even in your bio where you talk about not having to conform to corporate standards of professionalism. So I kind of want to start there if you don't mind. Like, tell me in your words what that means to you and why you chose to do this work because it's not easy. This is not a kumbaya type of content that we're putting out, and it takes a certain level of courage. So tell me a little bit about your journey as it relates to doing this type of work and how you got here and again what this work really means to you.
Yeah, so I am one of those people. I've grown up both in New York and Cali, but if you ask me where home is, it's New York. And so in 2014, I decided to pack up my life and move to New York. And I said to myself, like, what am I going to do with my life? And my mom, she comes from a background of social services and things like that. And when I moved there, I ended up getting a job it was like for entrepreneurs and stuff like that. Anyway, they gave me the boot. And I mean, it made sense. I was like young and my work ethic was kind of trash. But anyway, so then I ended up finding a job maybe a year later. And it was at a back to work center. And I did resumes and workshop facilitation and all of this stuff. But what really moved me, I guess, was the fact that I was helping my people. Like in California, I started off in New York and then moved to California. And when I moved to California when I was a teenager, there was literally 0.1% Black people. And it was a complete culture shock for me. So I became extra blickety black. Like, I put on the blackness while I was here. And so when I moved back to New York, I'm like, yes, my people, I get to be with them again. I get to work with them again. And it was just something about it. Because, when you're in an area community where it's mostly minorities and, they don't have the same opportunities and things like that, where I was able to give back, that's what I saw for myself. And so that's just kind of been my thing for the last decade. And back in 2021, when I was about to move back to California, I was in this job that was just hot mess. Whenever I talk about raggedy jobs, that is the epitome of a raggedy job. That the place was raggedy, the people was raggedy, the customs was raggedy, everything about it just was raggedy. And it was so raggedy, though, that my coworker, who was now my BFF because of this event, she asked for a pay raise because she was the lowest paid person on the team. My manager believed in telling us, like, being transparent with pay. And so my coworker, she was like, well, I'm not making nearly enough. I don't even want to be on this department. I want to be in another department because that's more my personality. So, we worked together, her and I, to prep her for interviews and like all of this stuff. And the VP was basically like, no, if you want better pay, you can go to another job. Actually, put her on Torriel's caseload. So my coworker became my client so that I could help her find a job somewhere else. That is when my business was born because I got my Twitter fingers going. I was like the Kermit the Frog thing, and I made the best resume at that time that I had ever made in my entire career of making resumes. And that's literally what prompted my business to be born. And throughout then, even though I knew I wanted to serve Black and brown women, I was nervous. I can't even hold you. I was nervous. It wasn't until this year, the end of last year, this year, that I made the firm determination that is my audience. Like, that's who I'm serving. And I was mainly nervous because there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons to unpack here, but the main reason is that due to biasness of society, it influences you too, right? And so I was like, well, maybe my audience, because they're in, underpaid, underdeveloped jobs, they don't have enough to pay me. So maybe I could just hit everybody so that I could still get my people, but like still get other money too. And I had to do a lot of undoing of that nonsense because there are plenty of paid Black and brown women. Paid. And because that's not in my circle, like I don't personally know a lot of them in a 9 to 5 that are paid like that. It's not been in my preference, right? Like it wasn't part of me. So it was a lot of work that I had to do for myself to undo that frame of thought. And so now when I see people like you on LinkedIn, when I see other, Black women who are just speaking up for us and just talking about us, it gave me that courage to be like, okay, I can do this. But one of the catalysts to this journey was, I think it was last year. And you and I had to talk about this a little bit because I had a business coach, and she had encouraged me to like use AI and all of this stuff. And I I was so angry at that point that I can't even remember the full story right now, but basically she had kept pushing me to look at different white men specifically, but white people, rather than being true to my voice and being true to who I am. And it pissed me off so bad that that's literally what was the thing that made me start thinking, let me start putting my people first rather than, because they have no problem putting their people first. So, yeah, that's kind of been my journey. I know
Wow.
that was a little bit all over the place, but
No, you hit on so many things. Like, first of all, we have a very similar journey in terms of being very scared, very nervous, very like, should I do this? Should I put this out in this way, so raw and so real? And then I also had people that I saw on LinkedIn doing it. And I was like, damn, how are they doing that? They don't even care. They
mhm.
like, boom, pow, plat out. But then I still saw the trolls and the racists in the comments. And I'm
Mm,
like, "See, that part I'm not interested in. Like, you just finna get blocked because 'cause I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not even
at
talking
all.
to you.
I'm
Get
not
out of
finna go
here."
back and forth with you. For
I'm
what?
not doing that,
For
you
what?
know? Like, no, hard no. And so, it took me a long time. This Codeswitch Rebellion idea has been in my head for a while, probably close to 2 years before I actually, like, launched it.
Mm,
And so, I get that. I get that. But once you start doing it, you realize y'all not gonna beat my ass, so what we doing? Like,
who gonna check me, boo?
who gonna check me? Like, it's fine.
And it's
We're
funny
here.
because I had my first white person to be like, I did a LinkedIn live maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, and I specifically kept mentioning black and brown women. And she was like, well, I identify with all this and I'm a white person. Why black and brown? And at first I was like, I'm not gonna say nothing to her other than I'm sure you do. That was my comment. But I sat on it and I said, nah, let me look at some stats. Because why? Why black and brown women? And the type of stats that I saw was so appalling. Like, I won't read the whole list, but I remember some of them being like, out of 100 men that go for promotion, only 78 women of color are even considered for the promotion, even though they ask for a promotion just as much as white men. Another one was for every 100, I think only 53 black women. For every 100, I think only 65 Latina women. So it's like different stuff like that I literally put together this list. I made a post about it and I commented on the thing again and I said, listen, if you really want to know the answer, here's the answer. And then she commented back, she said, you know what? Thank you for that. Yeah. I don't mind having teachable moments, but I'm not finna sit here and educate white people all day. Because y'all could clearly
Right.
see there was a disparity here. Like, we're not gonna do that.
I think they see, but they don't care because it doesn't impact them.
Exactly.
That's what it boils down to. They see, they hear, and it's like, oh, okay. Just like when we see stuff that don't concern us, we be like, oh, okay. And we keep it moving. But
Yeah.
the difference is they are the problem. That's the difference. They think
Yeah.
they're not involved, but they are directly involved. And I want to go back to what you said about that coach that told you, hey, emulate these white men. Say what now? They don't move through the planet the same way as I do,
Mm-mm.
and I am not them. Like, there's
Mm-mm.
so many issues with that, and you know what's funny? I had to recognize that for myself as well because I was, like, following the Grant Cardones and the Gary V's and the Alex Harmonies, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
are all very brilliant, they're great at what they do, but they also have a certain level of privilege. They are able to be who they are because who they are is this universal standard.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Mm-hmm.
And when we try to emulate them, we're losing who we are.
Right.
And who we are is special. We the blueprint. And we go that's a whole different episode.
Whew.
But I want people to be wary. Like, yes, you can learn certain principles from them. You can learn certain strategies from them, but you cannot be them. You cannot be who
Right.
they are because again, they move through the world completely different
Yes.
than
And that's exactly what I teach my clients. And that's what basically started what I'm calling my movement to getting 1,000 black and brown women promoted. Because
let's go.
you don't have to be like them as far as code switching and, putting on your polite white voice and toning down your personality and your colorfulness and your slang and all of this. You don't have to do that, but you can adopt some of their principles. So a lot of us don't think in terms of we provide the business ROI. We provide that impact. A lot of us just think, oh, let me just work hard and let me just do this and that. And that's what's going to get me promoted. But that's just not it. So that's literally how I've been moving. Like, we don't want to be like them, but we could use some of what they use.
Right. Right. I want to shift a little bit, right? Because we've been talking a lot about your business and what you do and your clients as it relates to them moving through corporate. I want to talk about you, Toriel, as the business owner and your
Mm,
own journey of self acceptance and being who you are as you move through business and, having jobs, etc. So tell me a little bit about that because you mentioned something that you said in an interview the other day when we were talking. And I want you to share that with the audience. And also talk about how so coming off of that business coach's advice,
mm-hmm.
how has it worked out for you? How
Yeah.
has it, you know, you showing up as Toriel real and raw, how has that impacted the business and how you operate, et cetera?
Yeah, I consider myself like the Tommy Pickles of my groups. Like, I'm usually the brave baby with the stew driver and a plan. Like, I'm always just doing things, right? And so as I've been helping my clients and telling them, be who you are, you're dope, all of these things, I've literally ingrained it in myself. So last year when I was looking for a job, one of the things that they asked me is, well, why should we hire you? And I said, because I'm dope. And I just looked at the camera. I didn't say
Mm.
anything for a cool second. I let it sit. And then, I did explain like why I'm dope and stuff like that. But I realized like I no longer care about white standards of professionalism. I just don't. That's not just because I don't sound like them, just because I don't speak like them, just because I don't move all the ways that they move, and I'm loud and I'm colorful and I'm proud of who I am and being a Black woman, that doesn't make me any less professional. And I've kind of always moved like that throughout my career, like even early in my career when I was, in my 18, 19s, 20s. I, we grew up on the Martins and the living single and, seeing so much rich Blackness just being there. So actually, I partly wanted to go into political science because Maxine Shaw, attorney at
Hey.
law. And so I've always been proud of being a Black woman, and I've always been proud of being loud and things like that. But it wasn't until 2017-ish when I started working for this art center. And it's run by two white dudes, but they had a mission because it's in the South Bronx of running an anti-racist organization. So they taught not only the staff that was working with the children, because there was a art center for children, but they taught about the microaggressions and different anti-Blackness that comes from white society and things like that, which I had never been exposed to. Like, I live it, right? So I never looked into that. But to actually see the facts and the understanding and some of the background about it, it allowed me to see that I don't have to conform. Like, I just don't. And literally from then I have not. Since then I have had colors in my hair, like blues and pinks and aquas and purples and all of these things. And the way that I even speak now when I'm having professional conversations and things like that, I'm still sounding like me. Now, does that mean that I'm gonna hit them with the New York slang and sound like I got my Timbs laced up all the time? No, right? But overall, I just allow myself to be me. And that's just what it is. And this is why people are drawn to me, because I just allow myself to be me and I let them know it's okay to be you. If you're loud and a firecracker and, rambunctious, be that. Be that. Use that to your advantage. Because the way that I use it, I like to schmooze. And because I'm nosy, I get a lot of information because I make jokes and I make people comfortable. And then I get the information I need. You know what I'm saying? But if you're quiet and you're, a wallflower, use that to your advantage too. However your flow is, whatever your personality is, that's what you got to do. You got to be true to that. And I make people comfortable enough to be true to who they are. Like Tommy Pickles.
Watch Rugrats. So I don't really quite get the reference you're making because I didn't have Nickelodeon growing up. So I never watched Rugrats. But I'm sure it makes sense. Total sense. Um one thing I wanted to dig into, right, is this notion of professionalism. I have a
Mhm.
whole episode just talking about that. And I have my own definition of what professionalism should be.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, you hit it right on the head, right? Because I use a different, tone, because I have, a bright color or whatever, does not mean I'm less professional.
Mhm.
Professionalism to me is you are well trained and good at what you do. You treat people with respect and you work with integrity.
Yes.
Anything outside of that is, to me, literally just making other people feel comfortable in their own skin
Mhm.
and helping to keep yourself down while they feel like they're above you. That makes sense.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so a lot of this is rooted in, the white supremacy stuff as, hey, we're the standard. And if you're not this, you're not like us. You can't sit with us. You can't be with us unless you conform.
Mhm.
And that's where, the whole professionalism thing, I feel like, they're clever. They did a great job, by the way.
I
They
mean,
did a
listen,
great job.
they've had a run this long.
They did a bang up job, I tell you that, because this thing is global, okay? This thing is global. And, so I just wanted to get your thoughts on when you say, we don't wanna conform to the white standard of professionalism. Do you have your own definition of what professionalism actually is that you kinda tell your clients? Because I know clients come to you and they're like, "Well, that may not be professional if I wear my hair like this, da 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 da." And is there anything that you tell them like, "Hey, this is what you need to strive for," and anything outside of that, we're no longer talking about professionalism, we're talking about conditioning or
You
racism or
know, no. I've never actually thought about what my definition of professionalism is. I think that your definition hits it on the head for me. If I had to think about that, I would say conducting yourself in a manner that people can take you seriously, because you're showing your expertise in some kind of shape, form, or fashion. Um, that's interesting that I've never thought about that before. But, I like to say all the time, you're professionally dope. Or you're professionally dope. And what that means to me is every single one of us has something inside of us that makes us special, that makes us us, right? Um, for me, I'm quirky, I'm random, pretty sure I have ADHD. Um, I'm a thug from New York, but I'm also a Christian, right? Like a very Christian woman. And all of those different things make me dope. But also, when I'm in my career development bag, that's my profession. So I wouldn't take me out of my profession. So I'm professionally dope. So I guess if I had to define it like that, it would be like that, right? Just
yeah,
being who you are and knowing how to rock your profession, knowing how to show people what your areas of expertise are, what your zone of genius is. And when you live in that, you're freaking dope.
yeah, yeah, that sounds just about about right. A lot of the clients that I, attract, they tend to have this notion of, "I can't say that. Oh, I can't do that." And they're on the call with me doing the same things that they say they can't do, like, outside of our call, like, "I can't post that." Meanwhile, we in here cussing like sailors, and you talking about you can't put hell on LinkedIn. What are we talking about? Like, when you get in the client calls, are you gonna be cussing with them too? Because let's just be who we are, so we're not catfishing folk.
Hmm.
Um, and so how do you feel like that plays into you and your how you market yourself in your business as it relates to, hey, what you see is what you get versus, hey, I'm gonna be one way just to get you in the door, and then when you get in here, it's gonna be totally different because I had to do that to clean myself up, to
You
polish
know,
myself up.
I struggled with that not because I wanted polish, but because I feel like I could be a bit much. My personality, I'm a big personality. Like, I am. I always have been. I'm an only child. I like being the star of the show a lot of times. I'm a big personality. And so part of my journey on LinkedIn, you can kind of tell where there were times where I was in my own self bag, right? But then there were times where I would just kind of talk about general career development stuff. Like I really wouldn't get into it the way that I wanted to. And it wasn't that I was scared per se. As they say, I didn't want to scare the hoes. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to tone it down a little bit. Because I've been really working on my own just self-development. Back in 2024, at the end of 2024, I got laid off. And that was the first time I had ever had a huge layoff like that. And it was of no fault of my own. But mind you, the year prior, I was literally coaching people in my day job who had gotten laid off. So now when it happened to me, I was like, okay, I got this. I didn't have it. I didn't have it at all. I fell apart, as a matter of fact. And all of 2025 was pretty much my self journey to self again and understanding who the heck I am. Like, what do I actually want to be known for? Is it that I want to talk about resumes the rest of my days? No. No, I hate resumes, and I've hated resumes for many years now, but I'm just so freaking good at it that I just kept being known for it. And finally last year I said, that's it. I'm done. Like, I'm done. Don't ask me about no resumes no more. The only people who are allowed to ask me about resumes is my BFF and some people from church. That's it. That's it. I don't talk about them no more. Any offerings I have for them, they're gone. They're gone. I don't want nothing to do with resumes. But that was part of me figuring out what I wanted to really do. And I realized that a lot of the stuff that I really get into my bag about with my clients, I was keeping behind my paywall. When that's really the geniuses that the people need to know me for. Like, I'm good at this. And this is not in a vain, braggadocious way. No, I'm generally good at this. And not to say that I've never been good at anything before, but this is like the thing that I found in my life that I love to do. Like, that is what a zone of genius is, right? People have different definitions. To me, your zone of genius is the thing that you really love to do and the things you're really freaking good at. And when it comes to career development, workforce development, that's my thing. And so I realized that in order for me to get the kind of clients that I want to attract, and in order for me to even feel good about what I was doing, I had to bring that more to light. So now on my LinkedIn, I'm only talking about things I want to talk about. And honestly speaking, it's not even like I haven't even really let loose for real that I want to yet. And that's on the way. I'm just trying to get my offer together so that I can have my people come along with me. But I am on this as I'm now 38, almost 40, and just happy to be who I am and what I do. I am just comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable. And if I can help others do that, whether that's my career clients or even just the people, my peers and, the people around me, that would make me a happy clam. It really would. Like, I just want to be true to me. And so I don't know if that answered your question because I feel like I went around and about, but the point is that is my journey now as I'm more forward facing with this stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's amazing because there's so many people that have not gotten comfortable with who they are. And, I talk about self-acceptance in one of the episodes because that's really what all of this boils down to in a sense, right? Because
Mhm.
if someone's telling you, "Girl, you're stupid," knowing you got 5 degrees, it's not gonna phase you because you know you're not stupid. But
Right.
if they're saying things that you haven't fully accepted about yourself, you're going to also be judging yourself if they say things that could be possibly true.
Mhm.
And you won't be able to, come out of that without feeling bad about yourself unless you do the work of knowing your self-perceived weaknesses, knowing the things that make you tick, knowing what you like, knowing what you don't like, knowing who you are. If you don't do that work, you're not rooted.
Right.
You're not
Right.
rooted. And just like a tree is not really rooted, somebody could just come pluck it and now you're over here wilting.
Right.
You need to get rooted in who you are. And that's why it's so important when we talk about personal branding, which is the work that I do. This is identity work. People come thinking they finna get some cute colors and some content. Yeah, that's cool. It'll come. But like, who are you? First of all, let's
Mhm.
start there.
Mhm.
And the reason why I ended up moving into Black women is because what I found was a lot of us had some identity crisis going on where they felt like they were this corporate version of themselves as it relates to business and that is the standard and that they're doing a good thing by having their website read like a corporation and like corporate jargon and like the logo versus them and
Mhm.
pictures and such. They feel like that's it, that's good. And it's like, that's not who you are though. And they're like,
Right.
Wait a minute, what do you mean? That's not who I am? No, because I'm here talking to you face to face and that's not who you represent. The way you're talking now is not how it sounds on your website, boo boo.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, be who you are. And so for me, my message is always about infusing as much as you can of who you are into your personal brand. The personal brand should be rooted in who you are, not who you were conditioned to be. And a lot of us are coming from corporate, conditioned as hell,
Mhm.
bringing all that crap with us into these businesses. And
Not
it's
even
like,
realizing that.
not even realizing that that's what's going on and feeling like they're doing something good by playing it safe and staying within those boundaries. And it's like, no, you're actually depriving the world of your greatness.
Mhm. And let me tell you something. My white clients, they love me.
they
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 love
have
me.
to. Let me tell you, they have to. No one is gonna come to you because of who you are that don't like you. If
Mhm.
you say you have a big personality, I think it's important for you to show that. So again, when people come into your space and pay you the money and get on the calls, they already know they want that. They're like, yes, I love her. I love her energy. Versus I'm gonna play it cool because I can be much. Let me just, tone it down. But then when they get over here, it's gonna be lit. They're gonna be like, whoa.
And
Uh
that's happened to me before. 2
mhm.
people have opted out of working with me after they came into my world. And I was like, "Well, what happened? We was me and you shall never
You catfish
part."
them folks.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm telling you, this whole last year has been me figuring out me.
I love that. I love that so much because I'm also figuring out me as I continue on this journey. Because me, like you, and I meant to tell you this when you were saying like you don't want to see another resume. Burn the resumes down, all of them. Burn them all, okay? Because I also came from the resume writing world, and I was a top dog over there. Don't get it twisted, okay? I was winning awards. I had people, whole community of like 200 resume writers, like getting coached for me, like teaching them how to write resumes, quoted all over the place for resume writing, charging out the ass for resumes. Like I was that girl. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I hate this
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to see another damn resume. It took me 4 years. It took me 4 years from I don't want to do this to actually like not doing it.
Yeah, it took 2 for me, 'cause I started hating them. So, I had a job, the same job that I was saying where I was coaching people who were laid off. That job, I was both a career coach and a resume writer, and then I also had my resume writing business. I literally was dreaming about resumes, and I said, "You know what?" I think actually for, like, 8 months, I quit my business. I was like, "I'm done. I'm done because I can't do this anymore. I'm finished." And then it wasn't until I got the job that I got laid off from where it started getting that bug again. And I was like, maybe I could do it differently. Maybe it won't just be about resumes. And then it
Yeah.
stopped being so much about resumes. And then eventually I said, forget these things. I don't like them. Don't
Yeah.
bring them to me anymore, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Burn them all.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, so I want to hear a little bit about you and your what you got going on in terms of services
Hmm.
as we start to wrap up. Tell the people what you do specifically, if you have any offers or anything that you want to let, the listeners know about.
Yes. So I have a group program called Command the Room Sis. And that is my 6-month group program where we work together to get you promoted. It is literally all about promotion readiness and leadership development. And right now, it is ready, like it's good to go, but I am getting it so that organizations will pay, so that your job will pay for it. So definitely ask me about that if you're interested. We work through 3 pillars. So we're working through your professional identity, what you want to be known for, what kind of reputation you want to make for yourself. And if that reputation is not what you want, how do we get it there? Right. We also work on language and impact because, as the great and late Maya Angelou said, when people tell you who they are the first time, believe them. So when people say, it's just part of my job, I just do this, it's no big deal, your leadership team is going to believe you. So we gotta undo that stuff so that we can work on getting you to speak properly about your accolades and getting you to speak about your impact, because It's all about ROI, return on investment. And then lastly, we work on visibility, right? Where we make sure that you have not only mentors, but sponsors, because sponsors are the ones who are going to advocate for you in rooms that you're not in. So that is what we do over 6 months. And we also create a business case for promotion, which is usually reserved only for like HR or senior leadership. But you're going to do that yourself, and you're going to make your case for promotion and show why you are promotable and show why you are a smart investment. So if anyone is interested, definitely come on in. Black and brown women, other women can come too. But you know, if you're not down with blackity blackness, you might want to sit this one out, boo.
You are hilarious. Can I just say I had to mute my mic a few times just to laugh because you be cracking me the hell up, okay? I just want to hit on something you said about like how we downplay our stuff. I'm just this, it's just that, it's just this. And it's like, just because it's easy for you doesn't mean it's less valuable. Okay. And I think a lot of times, you know, people I work with, they tend to do the same thing about their work. It's like, well, I can't charge all that because, well, it's, you know, it doesn't take me that long. Yeah. And that's exactly why you need to charge that much, because it
Hold on,
doesn't take you
what
that
the kids do? Is it this or is it
clock
this? I
it.
never
Oh my
remember.
God. I don't do that stuff, okay? I
don't
just
either.
can't. I can't keep up because I feel like, okay, fine, I'm gonna start doing it, and then they're gonna be on to the next one. And I'll be like, oh, we're not doing that no more? All right.
I just started getting the hang of yeet.
Oh, girl, no, you way late, girl. You way late. No.
Yeah,
Even
get
I
that
know
out of here. And my friends are like, girl, we don't say that no more. I'm going to say it.
know.
I know what it means. I'm going to say it. But yeah, where we black women especially, we are notorious for that, because we always have to downplay our greatness to make others feel good, whether that's white people, whether that's men in general. Like we're always made to downplay the things that we get done, the things that we do. I saw a meme end of last year, and it was a cartoon version of Whitney Houston, and it said, I am not every woman. It's not all of me. Anything you want done, baby, do it yourself. And you know what? That meme touched my soul, because we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders as Black women, especially, and then pretend like it was nothing. No, it's
Right.
everything. It's literally everything. We are the reason why a lot of these people's businesses are running the way that they run. And yet we say things like, oh, it was the team effort. Girl, okay, cool, team. But is the team getting the paycheck that you get?
Girl.
Come on.
Okay, to that point, I actually saw a TikTok yesterday, and I know we were supposed to be wrapping up, but I saw a TikTok yesterday, and I was like, dang, this stuff runs so deep. Okay, the guy that runs the Heritage Center, aka the guy who formulated Project 2025, he did 2 degrees, and he did a thesis and his dissertation, both of them about basically the Black community in the United States. It was more specific than that, but basically the findings that he found was when they had a women-centric community, that's when they saw progression and change, when the women were running the show. So in his own research, he found that Black women basically are the catalyst for change. They're the ones who make shit happen. And he created Project 2025 knowing that and using it to dismantle us. It was a very, very interesting TikTok. The shit I learned on TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. But hello, what? Like, it's just mind-boggling how they have done such a great job of making us believe that we are the lowest of the low, when in reality we are the blueprint.
We are the most educated people in the US. I don't know about other countries, but in the US for sure. We do some of the most change within our environments. And then we say, I just did that. Girl, no. No.
No, you gotta own it. You gotta own it.
Yeah, I literally, I remember beginning of last year, I had a client. She was early career, and I don't really do early career because early career just, y'all don't know nothing yet. It makes sense. Your early career. right? But she was trying to get a new job, and she kept like downplaying it and talking about when she was a student, this and that. I said, Z, how long you been out of school? She said, well, 3 years. I said, then what you still talking about that for? For 3 years, you've been at this job. That means for 3 years, you've done things. Stop talking about when you were a student. That ain't got nothing to do with what you're doing right now. Move on. I wanted to shake her through the camera. Stop that. But she eventually got it, and she got a job.
Yeah. It's just, we have a lot of work to do
We do.
in terms of how we show up.
We do. But
terms
that's
of how
why
we
people
show up.
like you and I are doing what we
Right.
do.
We gotta do the work because it's much needed. Much
Mhm.
needed. Anyway, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you
This
for
was
having me.
a blast, as I knew it would be. I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate, everything that you're doing. Keep up the work. Thank you again for being here. So the first season was all about like that awareness of what's going on and what it all means and like the thoughtfulness behind it. And season 2, I really want to take it to the next step and make it more actionable. So that's what you can expect for next season. And I'm excited for that. We're going to take a little break, summertime. The kids going to be home. We're going to come back in August. So if you haven't watched or listened to the other episodes, now is your chance to catch up and just fester on it, ponder on these things because they're very deep. The things that we've been talking about are very, very deep, and surface won't suffice. I say it all the time. You got to dig deep on this stuff. And so, this is really, again, about identity work and what that really means and doing the work because it is not sexy work. Okay? It's not sexy work. So I will see y'all next season. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
If this episode sparked something in you and you want to continue the conversation, join me over on Substack. I would love to hear your thoughts on today's topic. Till next time, y'all, remember, your identity is the strategy.